up on June 8th. We have another event coming up on June 18th. And to just give us a little teaser about it, I'd like to introduce Shelley Gehring, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it because she's going to be hosting. Shelley, you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. Well, hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm just really excited. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to host next month's meeting at the Kenwood. Everyone at the Kenwood is very excited to share our 5-star hospitality with you all. And I'm especially excited to talk about innovations in the field and what's next. This is particularly relevant for me right now, and it's a fun topic to speak about because Senior Star has just recently partnered with a Switzerland-based organization that has a unique vision of helping people stay well while they live longer. And we'll be introducing, and this is brand new, introducing an innovative new technology that connects the mind and body to Cincinnati area seniors so that they can live longer and healthier lives. And we're just excited to provide this opportunity to each of you as individuals so you can see for yourself and learn what it is. And some of you can experience it as well. So hopefully I've sparked some interest, and I look forward to seeing all of you next month at the Kenwood.
Great. Thank you so much, Shelley. And for more information, the event will be open for registration later today. So thank you so much. Hope she's piqued your curiosity and you'll want to attend at the Kenwood by Senior Star. So thank you, Shelley.
My pleasure.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the meat of our presentation today. I'd like to introduce Lisa Kruse, who is part of the communication team at the Council on Aging, and she supports the area's aging population through straightforward communication. So she and her team today will be our presenters. So take it away, Lisa.
Thanks very much, Sylvia. Appreciate it. I am Lisa Kruse, and I'm with the communications team at Council on Aging. And I have 2 other people that I work with here who are also APA members, and I would like them to introduce themselves. Stephanie, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie Seyfried, and I'm a Director of Program Operations here at Council on Aging. So thank you for allowing us to present today.
Hi there. Thanks for having us today. I am Nan Cahall, and I am the Director of Government Relations for the Council on Aging. And Council on Aging is also an education sponsor for the APA, and we really appreciate all that you do.
Great, thank you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So before we get launched off, I will just do a little caveat and say that we are going to be sharing a lot of information today. So please feel free to take notes if you need to. And if any questions pop in your mind, put them in the chat and we will address all the questions at the end. So let me go ahead and start with a little bit of a story. About 4 years ago, my mother-in-law, who was 94 at the time, unfortunately passed away after having heart issues. And about 16 years ago, after she had her first heart attack and was being discharged from the hospital, the discharge nurse suggested that she call Council on Aging to see what she might be eligible for. She did make that phone call, and as a result, she got a life alert button to wear around her neck, as well as someone to come clean her home on a regular basis. So I have no doubt that those services gave her peace of mind and more than likely extended her life for a bit. So I'm happy that connection is in my family, and I hope some of the information we share today will spur connections for you and the people that you work with. So today I'd like to talk a little bit about the state of aging in our region, area agencies on aging, of which Council on Aging is one, our mission, long-term care, our programs and services, and caregiving. Much of the information we go through, you may be familiar with. It doesn't hurt to have a refresher, but we will breeze through some of the information that might be repetitive for you. I do want to get started with some statistics. Of the people on this planet, those over the age of 65 outnumber children under the age of 5. And we really don't need the United Nations to tell us that people over the age of 65 are the world's fastest growing age group. Not a surprise to anyone on this call. So in other words, according to the 2020 census, the population of those age 65 and over grew 5 times faster than the rest of the population. So yes, society is getting older. In 2020, there were 1 in 6 people in the United States over 65. That compared to 100 years prior to that, 1 in 20. So that represents a growth of about 1,000%. That's quite a bit. So turning our attention to Ohio right now, 15,000 Ohioans turn 60 each month. And these maps show the counties that Council on Aging serves, the 5 counties in Southwestern Ohio: Butler County, Warren, Clinton, Hamilton, and Claremont. And in these counties, these maps show the percentages of residents over the age of 60. And as you can see, in the span of 40 years, from 2010 to 2050, there's been a change. There's been an increase in those percentages. Again, that's not news to us. Some statistics about Ohio is the 7th most populous state. By 2025, which is next year already, I don't know how that happened, but there will be more than 1 in 4 Ohioans over the age of 60. So let me talk a little bit about area agencies on aging. AAAs, as they're known, not to be confused with the driving people, AAAs are your connection to information and services for older adults, those with disabilities, and caregivers. AAAs are all over the state. We are AAA 1 in the bottom left-hand corner of the state. So there are 12 in Ohio and more than 600 nationwide. AAAs were started in 1965 by the signing of the Older Americans Act to bring more attention to the needs of older adults. So if you know of, or if you're needing help in another part of the state or the country, help with in-home care options, aging questions in general, a good place to start is the AAA in that area. And to find that, I would recommend using the Elder Care Locator. And that is www.eldercare.acl.gov. So we are part of a national network. At the top of the national network is the U.S. Administration on Community Living, followed by the Regional Office on Community Living. Then to the State Unit on Aging, in our case, the Ohio Department of Aging. Then to area agencies on aging. Then local service providers, such as meal deliveries providers, transportation providers, and the foundation of the network is Ohio's Older Adults. So let me talk a little bit about long-term care. I'm just setting the stage here, and then we'll get into what COA does with our programs and services. So long-term care, contrary to popular belief, is not a one-way trip to the nursing home. As a matter of fact, it's more likely to be administered in a variety of places, and home being one of them. We know that 9 out of 10 of us would prefer to stay home as we age. So that's what we're focusing on. What exactly is long-term care? It's a range of supports needed to meet personal care needs, mostly not medical in nature, rather help with ADLs, activities of daily living. You all are probably very familiar with that term. Things such as bathing, dressing, toileting, transferring. And there are, in more complex independent living skills, IADLs, instrumental activities of daily living. The long and the short of it is long-term care can be episodic. It can be needed for a short time after recovering from an illness or a hospital stay, or it can be needed on a more long-term basis. It can ebb and flow. There are 3 things that we definitely know are going to happen. Not pleasant to think about, but 1, we will all die. And 2, the run-up could be very expensive. And 3, if you don't plan, you might regret it. So you and the people that you work with are very fortunate to be on this call, to be getting information about what life might look like in the future. And yes, this slide looks complicated, and it is. There are a lot of things that need to be taken into account when getting older. Where am I going to live? Who's going to take care of me? How am I going to pay for it? How am I going to get from point A to point B? That's a big one. Transportation's a big one. The bottom line, 70% of people will need long-term care during their life. However, only 30% of us think we will. And as I said earlier, there's a large percentage of us who would prefer to stay home as we age. And Council on Aging has programs and services to make that happen. And Stephanie is going to tell you more about those.
Great, thanks, Lisa. Hello, everyone. So I'm going to go a little bit into more depth about our mission, some of our programs and services. Like Lisa stated, really our mission is to enhance lives by assisting people to remain independent through a range of quality services. And think about us as a front door for services. So kind of what we like to refer is that we're the one-stop shop. Give us a call, and we'll talk more about our ADRC department and our resource. But we are here for you all. We're here for the community to be able to get individuals connected. And we are going to watch a short video here.
Think about aging and how variable it is. Aging really becomes a challenge for people when they can no longer perform what we call the activities or the instrumental activities of daily living. So life goes on okay until you can't drive, until you can't shop, until you can't clean your home the way you wanted to.
Being a sole caregiver is hard, and you need to take a break. And Council on Aging is there to help you do all that so that you can get out. Because 24 hours a day with your loved one it's really hard. It's really hard.
COA provides in-home services, home and community-based services for older individuals and individuals with disabilities through a variety of programs. So if you, rather than go to a nursing home, if you prefer to stay at home and you need assistance to do that, to remain independent, we provide services such as home-delivered meals, home care assistance, transportation, respite, emergency response systems, and pretty much anything that you would need to enable you to remain independent at home. We also provide a point of entry for long-term services and supports through our front door. We provide unbiased information for members of the community who are wanting to know something about aging. We are the first stop.
People have very good intentions with regard to their families, and people will almost apologize to me because they have to work. They'll say, I would like to do this, but I have to work. And I say, well, of course we understand that. There's no way you can provide all the services your mom or your dad needs and work a full-time job and have children.
We contract with hundreds of providers, and it's a variety of a wide range of services that they're delivering. And we take pride in working with our providers and being a partner with them, but also ensuring that the services are delivered in a safe way. So we're monitoring quality. We're also auditing them on a regular basis to make sure that the background checks are done and that the proper insurance is in place and that they have good training for their staff and employees, all in an effort to ensure that the senior is receiving the best care possible.
A lot of it is they love the companionship. A lot of times they love that they get meals prepared for them, going to the grocery, cleaning. They love all that stuff because a lot of the stuff they can't do, laundry, and that kind of takes a burden off of them and kind of make their life a little easier versus it being stressful for them.
As our world is changing, I'm finding that the Council on Aging is changing too. Taking advantage of the technological advancements that are out there and asking the question, how can we leverage what's out here to better serve our older adults?
We're all about 20 years away from having to need someone else to help us. And so looking at technology like cameras and apps, there's a capability for all of those things to help us in a way, and not necessarily to replace the person that does that today, but to enhance the work that they do so we do have better care, so we do have longevity, so we can stay in our homes.
Some people want to stay in their own homes, but they don't know that that's a choice. To know that that's a choice and to be able to share information and education like that, I think is so important because it allows people a certain freedom.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I just want to share a little bit more about Council on Aging. So as Lisa had described earlier, we are an area agency on aging. Since 1974, we do serve older adults and individuals with disabilities and caregivers. We do serve a 5-county region, so Butler, Claremont, Clinton, Hamilton, and Warren counties. We are a nonprofit organization, so we are not a government agency. And wanted to share just a little bit about our funding. So 40% of our funding come from our county tax levies. 30% comes from Medicaid programs, and the remainder are state and federal funds. Client contributions and donations make up the rest. And I just want to share a little bit of our 2023 highlights. Lisa, I don't know if there's a delay on your end, or is it each? Okay, there we go.
Yeah. It's one at a time.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll just go one by one. So in 2023, we provided support for 26,691 older adults and people with disabilities to stay independent at home. The second is
they don't come in order.
Oh, okay. I'll just go in the order that they are popping up on the screen then. So, well, there we go. Provided 174,811 transportation trips for medical and senior center activities. Responded to more than 72,006 requests for information and referrals to our Aging Disability Resource Center. Provided more than 1.8 million meals through home delivered meals and congregate programs, and engage with 132,757 community members through presentation and events, and such as this one is as an example. All right, now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about COA programs and services. And again, this is a lot of information, but I know we will be sharing this at the end of the presentation as well. So just want to talk a little bit about the Elderly Services Program. There's a client example there, and again, some of this may not be new information for you, but our Elderly Services Program is our taxpayer-funded in-home program for older adults who do not qualify for Medicaid. So currently our programs are in Butler, Clinton, Hamilton, and Warren counties. Claremont County have their own senior services program, and that is run through the Claremont Senior Services Program. And this ESP program is for older adults who are, kind of stuck in the middle. They're not low enough income to qualify for Medicaid, but they also can't afford to pay for private care. And eligibility criteria. So currently, depending on the county, it's either age 60 or 65 and needing help with certain activities of daily living. There is no income qualification, but depending on someone's income and asset level, they may have a copayment. And that is all, again, discussed at the time of assessment. And the ESP program supplements the care, so it does not replace the care already provided by family. And also, if someone is eligible for another payer source, then we always proceed in accessing services through that payer source. So with ESP, it is payer of last resort because it is tax levy funded. ESP helps families, so we help individuals to help, families, sons, daughters, juggling jobs, child rearing, elder care, assist when, family members may be out of town, and, being able to be that connection, knowing that their loved one is cared for and services are in place for them. And here's just a few of the services provided by ESP, again, based off of what the individual is needing. So I won't go through the whole list, but we have personal care, home delivered meals, homemaking, we have adult day, transportation, care management, and a few others there. And I also wanted to talk about our Fast Track Home program. So this program is our evidence-based care transitions programs that help individuals who are leaving the nursing home or hospital and transitioning home. So the goal of Fast Track Home is to really assess that person prior to leaving the hospital or nursing facility so that we can get those services set up quickly upon discharge. And again, we can provide some of the same services such as homemaking, meals, transportation, and care management under our Fast Track Home program. And then we've got our Passport Waiver program, which is for those that are Medicaid eligible and who meet level of care. So Passport, with our Passport program, that is a higher level of care, nursing facility level care. But instead of going into a facility, someone can remain independent and receive those services in home. And again, here is just a list of those services available. Again, I won't go through the list, but typically when someone is on Passport, this is much more, usually more services are ordered because someone is there at a higher level of care versus our elderly services program. So someone may be getting, for example, 5 days a week, adult day services, home delivered meals, home modifications, really, it's providing more services in the home because someone does need that higher level of care. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about my care. So again, this may not be new information for you all, but just want to give a brief overview. So in our region, we have My Care Ohio, and really provides, the purpose of My Care is to provide that coordinated care for Ohioans who are eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid. And in our region, we have two in our Southwest Ohio, which is Aetna and Molina. And we provide under Aetna, we provide the care management, which includes the in-home services. But really, under the My Care plan, it's coordinating those visits with the doctors, hospitals. The mental health services are available, as well as some long-term care supports and services. So again, some of the same services that are offered under Passport are also offered under My Care. All right, and then My Care Ohio eligibility. So with My Care, the Medicaid portion is mandatory if you meet the following. So if you're 18 or older, if you live in these following counties, and you also have to be eligible for both Medicare and Medicaid to be eligible for My Care. And then I just wanted to talk about other services. So these are services that are open to individuals who are 21 and up. So I did want to mention them because sometimes people think Council on Aging, but we do offer the assisted living waiver program, which is 21 and over, and this is similar to those that are needing that level of care for Passport, but they may need that care in a nursing home. And this provides care for Medicaid eligible adults in approved assisted living facilities. And then we also have the Specialized Recovery Services Program. Again, this is also open to 21 and up. And it's specialized support for adults with severe and persistent mental illness, also certain diagnosed chronic health conditions, and or if someone is active on a transplant waiting list, someone may be eligible for the SRSP program.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about caregiving and our caregiving programs, and then a couple other programs before I turn it back over to Lisa. So when you say caregiving or caregiver, you might think of a lot of people. Maybe it's yourself. I know on this call, we deal with, I'm talking to a lot of people who deal with caregivers pretty regularly. So probably don't need to describe them too much in detail, but we all know that everybody's stretched in terms of their caregiving today and how they're covering all the people they have to care for. So, and this isn't new news to anybody, but as Lisa went through, there is an increase in the older adult population. It's growing exponentially, and it's going to continue to grow. And that increases the need for caregiving. It's terrible timing, right? Because we're in a workforce crunch, and there's a serious home health aide shortage. So family members are being called on to do more and more. So who is a caregiver, right? Many caregivers don't think of themselves as caregivers. You just think you're doing what you need to do. It could be a friend, a neighbor, a family member, but they're less likely to reach out for help because you think it's what you're supposed to do or required to do. So, if you're a spouse, a partner, a parent, or an adult or grandchild, you're running errands, you're taking time out of either off work, or you're really kind of trying to juggle a lot of things and just about anything to get the job done. Here's some more statistics that, of course, won't surprise anybody on this call, but adults 45 to 64, 23% are caring for an older adult. 17% are of 65 plus serve as a caregiver for another, you know, the sandwich generation that we all talk about. And the last box that says the number of unpaid US caregivers grew by 9.5 million in the past 5 years to 53 million. There's been a big focus at our public policy leaders in Columbus about, and AARP has focused a good deal on this, on how do we manage relieving the unpaid caregivers that are growing in numbers in our country. So there are we do offer a caregiver support program, and it's widely used. And I think if you're not familiar with it, hopefully this will introduce a little more information to you. We have a dedicated support nurse, Anna Gubo, I always mispronounce her name, and this program is completely free. And we have a special section on our website that can help you find more information about this. So it offers one-to-one support. So it also offers the respite time off for those caring for cognitive impairment, for individuals with cognitive impairment. So to be eligible, a caregiver or a care recipient must be at least 60 years old and live in one of our 5 service counties. There's no age requirement for those who provide care for individuals with Alzheimer's disease or related cognitive impairments. So a couple other services that are really nice, and if you're not familiar, your clients may be interested in them. We've got the home delivered and congregate meals, which are free for eligible adults. And you don't have to be a part of one of our programs to take advantage of any of these. It does provide a lot of socialization, the congregate meals. And so the other piece is the legal assistance. We're so fortunate down here in Southwest Ohio to have Pro Seniors, and we work with them a lot, and they are a wonderful resource for legal assistance. There's just a myriad of things that seniors have to confront on the legal side. And so Pro Seniors is a great, and many of you are probably familiar with them, but if you're not, they're a great organization. So this QR code will take you directly to information on our website for assistance programs that help older adults remain independent in their home. And so that will provide you the program and the eligibility requirements by county. And an important thing to note on some of these next programs is that funding is limited. The programs close when the funding is no longer available. So some of these everybody's very familiar with. The Home Energy Assistance Program, which is through the Ohio Department of Development and the Council on Aging, help low-income Ohioans with utility costs. We have the HEAP in the winter, and we have HEAP in the summer. And we can help seniors with the application program. And as I said, you could go to energyhelp.ohio.gov, but you could also use the QR code that was on previously. These are, I would say, these are underutilized programs that we have, and they're also programs that you don't have to be a participant in a COA program to participate in. Our health and wellness workshops, and our the USDA Farmers Market Program, providing locally grown fruits and vegetables to eligible older adults. And the Farmers Market Program is currently somewhat in flux. We're not sure what ODA is going to, how they're going to implement it. I think they're trying to get into more of a online application process. So we'll see, but hopefully that'll become clear before the farmers markets open, right? So the health and wellness programs are really great. We have a diabetes program, we have a pain management program, fall prevention program, bingo size, Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention, and then care for the caregiver program. So I think those are really wonderful community programs that are out there for everybody to take advantage of. Home 52 transportation was created by the Council on Aging and Home 52, which is a subsidiary of us, of Council on Aging, for a unique set of transportation needs that we saw were not being met. Currently, it's private pay. We're working in the transportation community locally to see if we can partner with SORTA, with other public transportation organizations, because there's a niche of people that aren't currently not being served by public transportation. So it's paratransit on steroids, I would say. It provides hands-on through the door transportation for same day or advanced schedule appointments. So when you think about many of our programs are caring for people who are nursing home eligible, getting from their door to the car and getting from the car to the doctor's office is a challenge. Home 52 transportation, we have trained drivers. We work with a group of providers that are trained in caring for the seniors and getting them from the door to the car and from the car to the door, calling the doctor's office if they're going to be late. It's really a tremendous it's a tremendous service that we're hoping we can expand to more people, because people really, the economic impact, the emotional impact to family members who are juggling work and having to take their parents or their grandparents or their aunt to the doctor is a challenge. So Home 52 is a great resource that we hope to expand in our region.
And Nan,
Lisa. Yeah,
I do just want to make sure that we say that Home 52 transportation is only available in Hamilton County at this point. I believe it is, we're looking at expanding it, but it is for Hamilton County residents at this point. Oh, thank you. And that's me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about referral and enrollment, and I'm going to just breeze through this because all you really need to know is our phone number and that we're there. But as far as that phone call, after that phone call is made, there will be our call center staff will ask a few questions to determine eligibility. And there will be an assessment performed, which is usually performed in the home. In the case of the Fast Track Home program that Stephanie talked about, it is performed at the hospital bedside because it's real difficult to have the assessment be at home when you're in the hospital. So we work with you on that point. There will be a care manager assigned. One thing that all COA clients have is a care manager, and I like to think of a care manager as a general contractor of sorts, someone to keep track of the services that are needed, the services that are in place, for how many hours they are in place, those sorts of things. And there will also be connections made to other programs and services. If for whatever reason COA isn't right, our programs and services don't meet the needs for the caller, then we're not just going to say, oh, sorry, can't help you, click. We're going to refer you to other people who may be able to help. So talking about connection, Stephanie mentioned earlier our ADRC center. It's the Aging and Disability Resource Center, our call center. we have an acronym for everything, so we call it ADRC. So they are certified in providing information and making referrals, truly unbiased information. They can help with Medicare, housing, applying for benefits. They are available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So if you have a chance, if you haven't already visited our website, it is filled with very helpful information. It's at help4seniors.org. And there you can find information about all of our programs and services. You can make a referral, either a self-referral or a referral on someone else's behalf. And Stephanie's going to mention that a little bit later when she goes through the website. And on the website, there is quite an extensive resource directory with 1,600 resources for things such as mental health, behavioral health. We have a dedicated housing database. You can find information about our news and events and our newsletter. We are also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, if that interests you. So with that, we thank you for your attention. That was quite a bit of information, I know. So I'm hoping that there will be some questions for us. Before we get to the questions, though, I do want to make a little plug and say that this information can be presented to in any format to a group of older adults that you work with. It can be presented to your organization, your company from a caregiving perspective. Maybe some of the employees that you work with are looking at the caregiving aspect and how COA can help them be productive employees that way. So, and I believe Stephanie is going to let me stop sharing and we'll talk a little bit about our website and then open it up for questions.
And while she's getting that website set up, I just would like to let everybody know that we are going to send the link to this Zoom recording and the slides in the thank you email that you received. So if you received the email to get logged on to the Zoom call, you will get the follow-up email either later today or tomorrow that will include that information. All right, Stephanie, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Hope everyone can see my screen on your end.
Yes, looks
okay.
good there.
Okay, great. So just wanted to walk through a few items here if you've not been to our website. So this is our homepage. And again, the link was shared on the previous slide, but we do have all of our programs and services listed here. And so it just kind of goes into depth. There's a lot of what we covered today is here as well. So wanted to reference that. And sorry if I'm not looking at you, I'm sharing on my other screen. So I'm trying to see where my camera went, but here we go. So for our under our Find Resources, we have our document library. So I will just take it here. It should pop up hopefully. And just wanted to share, if you guys can still see this, our document library. So we have guides to our programs and services here. We do have it in different languages, as well as our program fact sheets and brochures. So I just wanted to share that information. And then the last thing I wanted to go over is our under our contact link here. There is a form if you needed to make a referral. You know, we understand, you know, people get busy and sometimes it's hard, you know, to pick up the phone and call, but we will always and can take a referral. So I will pull that up so you can see. So there are some required information that we do need, but it's really pretty easy and quick to fill out the form, but just wanted to go over for anyone that wasn't familiar with our online referral process.
All right. I do have a question, which I believe you may have already answered, but I'll ask it anyway. A little review is always helpful. Question regarding managed enrollment. Please clarify the criteria and if you have an estimate of how long that looks like or how long that it will last.
Sure, great question. I can take that one from COA. So currently we do have managed enrollment. Currently it is in Hamilton County and in Butler County for our elderly services program. And in Hamilton County, it did start actually this time last year. So in May of 2023, what we had to do was limit kind of the eligibility criteria just because of the population, the growth, and again, as you all know, the growth of the program. So we did have to implement managed enrollment in Hamilton County of May of last year. Currently, there is no timeline of when we're going to be able to lift that, but I will tell you that we closely monitor this on a monthly basis, kind of where we're at, and having these internal discussions on when we can lift it. But in both Hamilton and Butler County, the current criteria is individuals who are cancer patients. So if they're actively in treatment, whether it be chemotherapy, radiation, or another type of treatment, anyone on dialysis. So if someone is in need of dialysis transportation because of the health and safety of that dialysis, individuals who are enrolled in hospice, individuals who are active with adult protective services. If there is an emergency need for home delivered meals, that is a criteria that is under our managed enrollment. And if someone was on Medicaid, but if there was a reason they were taken off, that was a financial reason, maybe an increase in income or another reason why they lost their Medicaid, then we do look at those individuals. And then we have no change with our fast track. So someone's fast track home program enrollment. So if someone's transitioning from the hospital or the skilled nursing facility, that criteria still remains for enrollment into the program. Good question.
Great.
Thank you.
I have another question that I have two of them. I'm going to read both of them because they kind of go hand in hand, and I think you can answer both of them together. Question for the long-term care home care. Are you utilizing mostly your own caregivers or are you partner home care agencies taking on most of these cases? If you are staffing your
Can you guys see that question? If you can't,
yeah, I can answer. I believe you froze, so I will answer the question. I can pull up the chat as well.
So it says, if you're staffing yourself, how are you getting past the issues of recruiting that everyone else is dealing with? Is the follow-up. And the short answer that I could give is that we partner with home care agencies. We don't staff directly the care. And so our home care agency partners are having a challenge with recruiting that everybody else is dealing with. Yeah. I don't know, Stephanie, if you have anything to add to that.
I was just going to add, specifically through our elderly services program and also through our waiver, there is a consumer directed care option.
Yes.
And we have seen growth in that space. If it may be a family caregiver or maybe it's a friend or a neighbor who's currently providing care, we can look at consumer-directed care as an option, and we have seen growth there. And we did not talk about today, but we also have our Add and Aid app, which helps to connect those older adults with someone to help with those, cleaning, homemaking tasks. So that is another option. And again, we've seen growth in both those programs to help meet the need because, as you all are aware, that is a major concern and issue.
Great question. Okay,
Yes.
also, another question is, can family members refer or only professionals?
Both. We can get family member referrals and professional referrals.
Perfect. And then obviously they must go through the website or call you. Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Another
Absolutely.
question, is your housing database up to date? And is there any way to know which facilities have a wait list?
That's also a great question. I'll take it unless someone else wants
We
to
have
take
great
it.
attendees.
Yeah. So we did, and again, our housing database should be up to date. We actually just did a pretty significant work around our housing database because a lot of times, things change so frequently, and keeping that database up is critical and important. I don't think we do have a current wait list available to know, either it's a facility, um, that has a wait list, maybe through the assisted living waiver. I don't know that we have a separate wait list. I can ask and find out with our EDRC department. And really on the housing end, so if someone is in need of senior housing, I don't believe we also have a wait list there. Really just what is there is there. And so if that answers the question.
Is there a waiting list to get a home health aide?
Well, Nan, you want to take it? Sorry.
No,
Sorry,
no, that's a good
Mhm.
question, and it's a
Mhm.
complex answer, I think.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's probably something that ebbs and flows in terms of what's available and what's not, and what's needed, what kind of assistance is needed. So I don't know, Stephanie, if it would be accurate to say generally there is a lag time to get a home health aide signed up. That's a generalization, not every time.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think, with our fast track home program, we can typically get those individuals served, get, an agency out there pretty quickly because individuals need that, that care coming out of the hospital. It's critical that we can get those services started. Now, I won't say that we don't have people waiting because we do, and that's across all of our programs, unfortunately. We've done, and we work really closely with our home care providers to try to meet those needs and those gaps. But we currently do have individuals waiting for our home care assistance.
Okay. And one last question. So if anybody else has other questions, please get them in the chat box for us. Is Home 52 income-based, or can any senior request the transportation services?
it is not income-based. We do offer it limited through the Elderly Services Program, but we also offer it to the general public. You do have to have, there are some requirements in terms of you have to be over 18 and there's no children, and you have to have an ADL, a deficiency in order to be able to utilize the service. But we do have, we do offer self-pay, and that is, a number of our clients are self-pay.
Okay. And when you say self-pay, is it more like Uber Eats type of a thing?
Yes, you can schedule a pickup. Or you can call, and see if there's someone available to pick you up at the time that you need them. And we keep a credit card on file and bill you for the transportation.
Right.
And our website has all of that information as well on it. And Home 52 has its own website, and it also would spell out the fees and all of that on the website.
Great reminder to access that website, everybody. It has lots of information.
Or call. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Before I let anybody go and I lose your attention, the date for the next event is June 13th, not June 18th. We gave you the wrong date. So if you're interested in attending our event in June, please make a note that it will be June 13th. Registration will open on our website either later today or tomorrow. And as a reminder, again, the slides and the recording will go out in your thank you email, and you can access that information through the email that will be sent later today or first thing tomorrow morning. So any other questions? How'd everybody like that? Thumbs up? Did everyone learn something worth your time?
But we
Any
really
reactions?
appreciated it. We really appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
Well, on behalf of APA, I thank all three of you for taking the time out of your day to present to our group. You provided lots of valuable information that everyone in our organization can certainly use. And I thank you very, very much for your time. And
Well,
everyone else who's on the call, thank you so much for your attendance. Any other questions? If not, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be safe. Thank you for attending. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.
I just wanted to